Hey, what's up? This is George Shamoun. In case you don't know me, I make videos about using Linux commands, about making web pages using HTML5, CSS 3, using Visual Studio Code for coding. And if you're interested in this kind of topics, submit your questions so I can answer you now on this live stream. And let me know what you're interested in, what kind of topics, or if you have any questions so I can try to answer you. I will do my best to find you an answer. If not, I will try to direct you to the right resources if I can. If this subject is within my skills that I already know or I am learning. So again, this is George Shamoun. I'm coming to you live from the U.S. state of South Dakota. Uh, Let me know where you're tuning in from, and if you have any question, at least say hi so I know that you can hear me well. Sometimes the audio or the visual does not work well right away, so let me know. So again, we're talking about using Linux command, and this video is specific about Linux server. I set up Linux Ubuntu server 22.04 LTS a few days ago. I've tried it before. It worked, and again, I have another computer, so I installed Linux server on it, the server edition, and the other computer I have has Linux, the desktop edition. So I'm gonna show you if you have, if you wanna see the difference, I can show you the difference between the desktop edition and the server edition, and both are Linux Ubuntu 22.04 LTS. LTS, it means long-term support. So in both cases, you have access to the terminal, obviously, to use commands, but the server edition, you don't have the graphical user interface, and it's made that way on purpose. So you diminish or you make less elements for vector attacks on the server. So basically, the server is, you don't learn it in the beginning, after the desktop, but it's very interesting. I can show you later on in a few minutes. Once people start showing up on this live stream and asking questions, I can show you the server edition, how it looks like, and that it's nice to learn the server, but before you have to learn the desktop because it's less intimidating. So, guys, if you're interested in this topic about Linux commands, about making websites and web pages and coding HTML5, CSS3, and in the future JavaScript, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I need your help to grow it. And once I grow it, I'll keep making more videos so I can help you and answer questions about skills I know and I am learning. So in the chat we have now Dark Lutz. Yeah, I remember you were here before. Hello, how are you? I'm good. How are you doing, Dark Lutz? How are you? Let's see the server. I am interested. Okay, sure. I will show you the server in couple minutes. Uh, yeah, Fog will show us your setup. Okay, sure. I will show you my setup now. So, but guys, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I need to grow it and I'm gonna help you. Okay, if you look here, let me see. So, what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna be switching, flipping the screen back and forth, so you can see the setup I have, and then I'll switch it back, and this way you can see me talking. So show us your desktop. I am interesting. Yeah, thank you, Wall and Dark Lutz, for your questions. So let me flip the screen. This is the the desktop edition. The desktop edition, you have access to the terminal, but you have other graphical user interface. If you look here on the side, it's like a taskbar. It shows you the activity. And then if you look on the bottom here, it says show application. You click on this one, and I'm using my mouse here, if you notice. And you have this, it says search. You can search for application. And also, if you go to the Ubuntu, this one here, the Ubuntu software, you click on it, and this is the Ubuntu Center. It will show you if you have updates available. And so there are two updates for those software, for the Teams for Linux and the code, the Visual Studio Code. So all what I do, I can click update all here, and then the system will update them for me. So this is a one place where you can find what's installed on your computer right here. So that's what's installed, and you can explore. If you're looking for a specific software, you can click on search here. So if you have any question about this desktop, I can answer it now. So this is how it looks like. So it's very similar to Windows computer and Mac. It's got some similarities where you have icons, the graphical user interface, and you can use the mouse and you can move it around. And if you look on the top, you have the setting. You can see the Wi-Fi connection, and this is the volume. And you can do a lot with the mouse and a click. And then you have access to the terminal. This is the terminal here, and the way you access it, you click on this icon. It says terminal on a side, on a taskbar here. Once you click on it, you get this window. This is where you can type the commands. Let's say I want to type ls command. You hit enter, and this is your output. So basically, I'm using the command line, and that's the desktop edition. Again, it's Ubuntu 22.04. Now, if you look on the server edition, this is how the server looks like. If you look at it here, it says server 1 log, and that's the name I gave it, server 1. So, and this is all what you see. You don't have the graphical user interface. So once you log in, then you start typing commands. But for new users of Linux, you're not gonna go to the server edition. But I'm just showing you that because I installed it not a few days ago, and you can run commands. But in the beginning, start using the desktop edition because you have access to the command. So this is how it looks like. This is how the desktop looks like, and this is how the server looks like. So if you look at the server, all what you have is the login prompt. You enter your username, and you have to be an admin on a server. Unless somebody gave you another access, like created a login, like an account for you with administrative right. If you want to log into the server, you have to have an admin access. And basically, once you install Linux server, the system will prompt you for the login and the password. That will be your admin. That will be your admin login. So 007AZ, thank you for joining the live stream. And you have a question, thoughts on virtual machines. Okay, virtual machines are great if you are using one computer. Let's say you have a Windows computer and you want to use Linux on a Windows. You can install a hypervisor, and on the top of the hypervisor comes the virtual machine. Basically, you're running an operating system like Linux on the top of a Windows machine. Basically, you're using the resources like the virtual memory and the microprocessor, but you're not using the RAM, but you're not using the hard disk. So basically, you're not installing. When you use virtual machine, you're not installing another operating system on your hard disk. And this is a smart way because if you don't need a dual machine, because dual boot machine, you install two operating system on a hard disk, and every time you reboot it will give you options which one you want to use. You want to use, let's say, Windows 10 or 11 or Linux, and you choose one, and the computer will restart with what you selected. But the virtual machine will let you get rid of the dual boot or not use the dual boot operating system, and you can just use a virtual machine, like the name implies, virtual. It means you're not using the hard disk, and it's not permanently installed on your hard disk or machine. You just using the resources, and it's running on the top of a hypervisor. And when you have a hypervisor, it's the layer above the existing operating system, and then you can install virtual machines. And there's different setup, but nowadays, when they made the Windows 10, I think, or the version, I think Windows 10, you can use Linux. It's called the Windows Linux subsystem, or subsystem Linux, WSL or WLS. You can install it from the Windows store. Uh, Application or software store, and you can use the Linux Ubuntu. I think you can install it from within Windows. So this is another way of using a virtual machine. This is a virtual machine using basically Linux on the top of a Windows machine. So if you have any question, I hope I answered your question. And if you have, if I didn't, let me know if you need more clarification. But this is the way I understand it, because it has so many setup. There are so many software, so many ways to use a virtual machine. And not me, welcome. Thanks for joining the live. Why do you look old? Last time you weren't old. What's happening to me? I have no idea. Now I got 17 subscribers. Yeah. Okay. Good job. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Who else? Any questions about Linux server? Anybody have any question about Linux server? So I can answer it now, because I'm running both. I have Linux desktop on this computer, on this machine, and I have Linux server on this machine. So if you can see him, this one is the desktop, and this one is the server machine. And I haven't logged in yet, but if you want me to log in, I can do that, just to show you how it looks like after I log in on a server. So any questions, any comments, anyone have any question about using Linux commands and using the Linux desktop or the server? And I am running Linux Ubuntu 22.04, and I can answer you about those versions, because obviously there are so many Linux distributions, and they say over 600 distributions, and I haven't used a lot of them. My favorite is Linux Mint and Linux Ubuntu, and Ubuntu has the this desktop and the server that I installed, and that's how I can help. Anybody have any question? Anyway, bye. Okay, see you, not me. Anybody else? Guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're interested in this kind of topics about using Linux and other software that I can use myself, like Visual Studio Code to make codes like HTML5, CSS3, making web pages, setting up websites. I talk about this on my channel. So if you are interested, make sure you subscribe, because I need your help to grow the channel. And in return, I will help you make more live streams like this one, and I will answer questions that you may have. And I'll be more motivated. The more subscribers I have, the more motivation I have to make more videos and help you, like this one here. So yeah, who else? Anybody have a question so I can answer it now on this live stream? Thank you so much, everyone, for joining and for tuning in. Every single one of you is very important to me. This is why I'm here to help you, and I need your help in joining my channel, subscribing, so I can grow it more. And the more I grow it, the more motivation, the more motivated I get, and then the more videos I make like these, and I will help you about topics. Linux, how to make a web page using HTML5, CSS3, simple ones, and how to use HTML5, CSS3 templates to make a simple website, a web page. We can talk about web hosting, domain name, anything related to websites. The simple ones. I'm not into the e-commerce yet, but if uh, if you want to make a simple website, I can answer your questions. So, who else? Any questions? Any comments, any topics you wanted to discuss now or in the future? And by the way, Linux, if you're running Linux, there are so many tools and resources for software development and web development. So if you are learning web development, whether the front end like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or the back end like Node.js, PHP, Python. It's got so many tools. Like you just type, if you want to run Python, you can access the Python interpreter. You just type a Python and the command prompt in Linux, and it's gonna take you to the Python interpreter, and you can start typing commands. Like let's say, if you wanna use in Python a statement to print the sum of two numbers, you can say print, and you open parentheses, and between single quotation, you add, let's say, 4 plus 3, and you hit enter. It's gonna give you 7, and you can run that from the Linux terminal, and you type Python 3, for example, and this is how you access the Python interpreter. So this is one example that the tools that Linux has, whether the desktop or the server. Even on a desktop, you have so many tools. You can use Python. You can install Node.js for JavaScript backend. You can use Visual Studio Code on the desktop. So, anyone else questions? Anybody have a question about Linux, desktop or server? What's the difference? If you want, using a command line, how to use Linux. If anybody is interested, let me know, and I can help you answer questions. So, yeah, it's very important nowadays to learn skills, and I can't talk about other skills, but I can talk about technical skills using software and software as a service and online services. I can tell you about the ones I use, like for my website, I use Hostinger Web Hosting, and for my domain name, I used Hostinger, but there are a lot of domain registrar, you can use. And it's good to know basic skills, especially technical skills. It will help. So anybody else have a question? Again, we're talking about Linux, Ubuntu 22.04 LTS long-term support, and I have the desktop edition installed on one computer, and I have the server edition installed on another computer. I have both running, so if you have any questions, let me know. I can answer you. So, yeah, I mean, it's what's important about Linux. It's got so many resources, so many tools that are embedded in an operating system. And whether you are a web developer or a software developer, you can find a lot of tools and a lot of resources that you can use that comes with Linux operating system. Like if you are, let's say you want to install Apache or Nginx web server, you know, You can do that on a Linux server because basically, if you install a Linux server at home on a computer you have, basically it's like you're having that will can replace, if you're learning how to use the Linux server, that can replace the virtual private server or dedicated server in a web hosting company on the internet. You know, I mean, you're not going to be able to connect it to the internet yet. It's local in your home, but you can learn a lot because basically, instead of paying for a virtual private server or a dedicated server in a web hosting company on the internet, and you pay monthly fees, you can, if you have a computer at home, like an old one, it doesn't have to be new. You can install Linux server on it. And this is what I did. One of my computers is old. It cannot run Windows or advanced. So I installed on it. And this is how it looked. Let me show you. This is how it looks. That's how the server edition looks like. If you look here on the top, it says Ubuntu 22.04.1 LTS. I gave it the name Server 1. And then if you look here, Server 1 login. So this is how a server looks like, Ubuntu server. I mean Linux server, and in this case it's Ubuntu. Basically, it doesn't look like the GUI, the desktop. So you have to know how to use the commands. That's all what it takes, commands, you know. So I like it. I like Linux because the command is so fast when you use it versus the graphical user interface, and there's so many ways you can find help on the command. You can get on the internet. You can find in the manual pages. There's ways, so you can find tutorials and. So who else? Anybody have a question about using Linux server? We're talking about Linux server, and I have the desktop installed, so I can show you the difference between Linux desktop and server. So and if you want me to log in to the server, let me know so I can log in and I can show you how it looks like once you log in, what kind of messages you can get from the servers. I can show you that if you want me to. And I already showed you the desktop, and I showed you the server, how it looks like. But we can, if you want, I can log into the server if you have any questions. And so anybody else, questions, any topics you want to discuss about, you want me to discuss about Linux, Linux commands, Linux desktop, server. This presentation now, this live stream is about Linux server, but I can talk about Linux desktop to compare them. If you want me to talk about Linux commands, I can do that, how to use them. But on this channel, on my channel, I talk about other softwares, like I talk about making a website and what tools you need to make a website. A simple one, like I talk about Visual Studio Code. It's a code editor that you can use to make coding, like code a web page in HTML5, CSS3. You can use it for JavaScript. You can also use it for Node.js, and you can use so many applications, so many programming languages when you have Linux, and without install a lot of software and a lot of tools, because Linux comes embedded with so many tools. It's from within. I can give you an example. Like if you use Python, you get to Linux terminal and you type Python, and it might prompt you to Python 2 or 3. You just, like in my case, I typed Python 3. Once you type Python 3 from the command line interface from the terminal, from the Linux terminal, it will take you to it will give you Python interpreter, and then you can type Python programs like statements, not the programs, you know. So anyone else have a question about Linux server? Yeah, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're interested in this kind of topics, and if you find this information helpful and resources that you're looking for. So because you'll be helping me to grow the channel, and the more subscribers I have, the more motivation I have, and then I'll make more videos, and I'll present more. So, and then by the same token, I will help you answer questions about topics I'm familiar with or I'm learning. I may not be able to discuss everything, but most topics, you know, if you look on my channel, you will know what I cover. I go over making a website. I talk about coding, HTML, CSS. I'm starting to dabble with the JavaScript. It's not easy, and I talk about making using Inkscape to make SVG files, because I make my YouTube thumbnails using Inkscape, which is an SVG file maker, and then I do the editing and I export it as a PNG file, because the thumbnails on YouTube have to be .png or .jpeg. I think they cannot be SVG files, you know. So Linux has so many tools that you can use, and it's all for free. You know, Linux is for free, and it's got also an Office suite. It's not going to be the same as Microsoft Office, but you can do a lot with it. You have the Office, LibreOffice Writer, the spreadsheet, you have the draw, and you have so many tools that you can use. Unless, you know, I'm using it now. I don't have any other computers right now. I have my Mac here, you know, but so. Anybody have a question about Linux desktop or Linux server? Let me know and I will help you. Anybody else? Questions? Topics? Share your, if there's a topic that you want me to cover that's related to using Linux commands, using the code editor Visual Studio Code to make simple web pages like HTML5, CSS 3, and JavaScript. Let me know if you have any question about using Python. I'm starting new with Python. I don't want to talk about Python now, but I know, you know, because I'm talking about Linux and the tools it has for software developer, for programmers. That's why I was talking about Python, you know, because Python is a programming language where you have to have a back end. It's a back end language, and you can use Linux to access the Python interpreter, and you can also install Node.js, so you can use JavaScript on the back end of a server. So yeah, so if you are into you're very technical, there's a lot of use for having a Linux machine, whether a desktop or a server. The desktop is has so many tools, but the server, you can use it as you know, as a server that will have more functionality, you know, because the server can have a web server running. It can have an email server. It can have a firewall. It can have so many tools and so many applications it has, you know. But you have to know them, you know. So Anyone else? So let me. Okay, anybody is interested in looking at the server, how it looks like when I log in? So let me show you. Maybe I can show you. I should show you. So if you look at the see. All right. So if you look at the server, you flip my screen. This is the server. So if you look on the top here, this is that's what you see on a server, you know. If the power is on, that's what you can see, the server name, and then you have the login. So now I'm gonna log in, and this is like I mentioned before, it's an Ubuntu 22.04 LTS server, and I gave it the name server 1. So let me log in, and I'm gonna show you how it looks like. So server admin, so server admin, admin. So this is the administrative username that I created. So if I hit enter, and just show you. If I hit enter now, it's gonna prompt me for the password. So enter, and then it says the password. What's my password? So I'm gonna enter the password now. Password 1. Okay, and then now I'm gonna log in, and you're not gonna see anything I'm typing in a password. So don't hesitate if you see the cursor is staying in the same place. This is how Linux works. You know, the cursor doesn't move sometimes when you're adding your password. So I'm gonna hit enter now to show you what's gonna happen now. So I hit enter, and if you see, this is what I have. I got this output now. So what it says, let me read it for you. It says, welcome to Ubuntu 22.04 LTS. Such it gives you the Linux specs like 515 such and such, you know, the build number, that's what they call them. Then it'll give you the documentation, help, like help.ubuntu.com. Then it'll give you the management, it'll give you the support, etc. And then it's gonna give you the system information as of October. It says 7:104 a.m. UTC. So basically now it's gonna give you. It says system load is 0.0 usage, root 9.6% of the 71 gig. So basically this hard disk is 71, and I'm using 9.6. Memory usage is 5% only. Swap usage 0%. Processes 103. So the processes basically they are programs running in a system, you know. And then if you look here, it says IPv4 address for EMP2S0. It'll give you the IP address 192.168.0.116. This is the local address of this machine. And then it will give you the IPv6 address for the same one. I guess this is the internet address, I'm assuming, you know. And then it says strictly confined Kubernetes makes edge and Internet of Things secure. Learn now, micro KAs. I don't know those, the Kubernetes. Just raise the bar for easy, resilient, and secure cluster deployment. And then if you look here, you got so many more information. And then it says it will give you if something is available for update. It says 103 updates can be applied immediately. To see this additional updates, run apt list upgradable. So if you run this, if I run this command, apt list dash upgradable, it will give you what's available to upgrade. And then it says the new release 24.04.1 LTS available. So there's another release available. And then it will give you the prompt back. So let's use this command, the apt list upgradable, and this will give you the what's available to upgrade. Let's see, apt list upgradable. So if I hit apt apt space list list space dash dash up gray and if I hit enter, and then it will give you those softwares, all of those programs, they can be updated, all of those. So all of these are upgradable. It says, like, let's say if you read one of the lines, it says here, Jammy updates 1.020 Ubuntu such and such. It says upgradable from this, So basically, let me flip the screen here. So basically, this is the server, and what's nice nowadays about Linux, and especially Linux Ubuntu, I'm talking about Ubuntu now. It will help you as you type the commands. In the output, it will give you information to help you how to run other commands and what the commands do. Just like in this case, it gave you a command that you can run to find what programs are upgradable on your system, and then it's gonna show you how to upgrade the programs. So so this is, and also you can use the mouse. The mouse, let me see. No, I don't think you can use it here. So, yeah. So basically, on a server, you can use, I think, the keyboard only. You cannot use the mouse. So if you look here, this is the keyboard, right? And this is the keyboard I use. I have a mouse. It is connected to this computer here, which is the Ubuntu server. This one here. But you cannot use the mouse because you don't have the graphical user interface. So if I hit and if you want to clear the screen, you hit the clear the screen. You go clear, and then it will take you to the top of the screen, and this is how you clear the screen, the output, and then it will take you back to the server name and the whoever is logged in. It says server admin at server one colon such and such, and then you can type commands here again. So and let's say you want to use if you want to, sometimes I get stuck on finding commands. You can jump to the internet and find commands. You can do a search. So I'm on a search now. So let's say I want to know how to upgrade all of those packages that you can upgrade them on Linux Ubuntu server. So what I can do here, if I go to the search engine, I just type how to upgrade Linux packages, and I can type Ubuntu, and if you see here, it will give you the what commands you should run. So if you're new and you don't remember the commands, it will give you the commands that you can run. It says here, people also ask, how do I upgrade all packages in Ubuntu? And you click on it, and then it will give you what you can do. It says here, sudo apt upgrade. So basically, if you type here sudo apt upgrade enter, and then it asked me for the password of the admin. I am the admin on this server, so I have to provide the password or one. And if you look what's gonna happen now, if I hit enter after my entering my credential, and then it's gonna start giving you what is it doing? Like let's say if you look on the top, it says calculating upgrade done, reading state information done, building dependencies. It does a lot, you know, in the background, reading a package list, and then it will give you some information here. You have to read those, you know. So it says the following new packages will be installed. Then it will give you a list of the packages. This one is Python 3 space magic Ubuntu Pro client such and such, and then it says the following packages will be upgraded. So some, and then it says if you want to remove a program that you don't need, you can use the sudo apt auto remove. It's right here, sudo apt. If you see it, let me see, sudo apt, yeah, sudo apt auto remove to remove packages that you don't need. And now it says after the operation 42.2 KB of additional space will be used. So it's gonna get your approval. Just say yes. So if you hit yes, because it's gonna give you how many the space it needs. So you hit enter, and then it says it's working, it's doing this, it start working in the background. You know, if you look at the so, and then if you look on the bottom, it says the progress. It says the progress, and what is it doing here? We have a question. Michael Dominique, welcome to the stream. Michael Dominique, welcome. Uh, so, yeah, Michael, what I'm doing here, I'm showing you the, I logged in to the Ubuntu server, to the Ubuntu Linux server 22.04, and I'm showing you uh, how to upgrade the packages, and it's doing it now. And I can get into Python in 1 second. I can get to Python, you know. So actually, Python is already installed, but we can upgrade it. I want to check what version it is, and then we can upgrade it. So if you notice now, it's doing the upgrade for whatever is available, and that can be upgraded. So if you look here, you're looking at these. It says unpacking, preparing, selecting. It will give you the status of everything it's doing, and it will give you the progress bar on the bottom here. If you look, it says progress 43%, and it keeps going up. You know, so, and this is the it's giving you here what it is at. You know, and once it stops, it says unpacking, preparing. And what's nice about Linux, it does this from one repository, you know, of software. You don't have to get to the internet and to different locations. Once you add those commands, upgrade this, upgrade that, it's gonna do this by itself, you know. So let's see. So yeah, it's still working now. While it's working, we can still talk. So has this machine not been updated since 1999? No, you know, I installed this Ubuntu server not too long ago, a week ago, and it looks like there are always upgrades for packages. So you'll think there are so many packages and it hasn't been installed for a long time, but it is, you know. Now I think it's installing Python 3. It says setting up Python 3-apt. So it does that a lot, you know. So we're installing. What's the end goal? Hacking the Pentagon? No, that's not. So I'm just talking about Linux, the difference between Linux desktop and Linux server, and how to access them, what's the difference between them. So I don't have a specific task, you know, I'm not doing anything, any setup. This is very basic for someone who's starting new. They want to know the difference between Ubuntu desktop or server, and how do they look like, and how you can run a command. So this is very basic. If you are advanced, you already know the stuff, you know. So anybody else have a question? Guys, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, because I'm trying to grow it. And the more I grow it, the more I make videos like this to help you. And we can talk about Linux commands. We can talk about making websites and the tools which are related to those two. And we can talk about making SVG files using Inkscape. So basically, if you look on my channel, you can see what topics I talk about. So extract some ideas or topics and then share them in the, and let me know what you're interested in. Totally understand you're going God's work, brother. Best of luck with the YouTube venture. Oh, okay. Thank you. I do appreciate that, Michael, Dominic. So we got the, let me flip the screen to show you what I have now. On the, so it says package configuration, and then I got this one here, and then it's gonna say daemon using outdated libraries, which servers should be started, you know. So I don't know exactly what they mean by this one. So what I'm gonna do, just leave it. I'm gonna just hit OK, and keep moving, you know. So okay, and then it's doing something here. It's working now. And it will give you, as it works, it will give you the progress on the screen. So it says such and such restarted, what services, and then it says no containers need to be restarted, no user session are running outdated binaries, no VM guest are running outdated hypervisor binaries on this course. And then it will give you again the prompt. It means it's done its work. Then it will give you the prompt here. So if you click on this one, you can see the prompt. And if you want the prompt to be at the top of the screen, you just click clear, and then it will take you to the top of the screen. Again, this is Ubuntu Server 22.04 LTS long-term support. It's I recommend using it versus other Linux if you're new, because it's easier than other Linux distributions. Anybody else have a question? Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll try my best to answer them and help you. If I can't help you, I will let you know, and then I'll try to direct you to the right resources if I can. You know, I don't claim that I know everything. So again, this video is about Linux server, how to log in, and how to use the commands, some of the commands. And please submit your comments or questions or topics you want me to discuss. You'll be giving me ideas about future videos. So who else? Anyone have a question about what we're talking about? We're talking about Linux server. And in the future, we can make more videos about specific services if you want, you know. So basically, these, what I talk about is for new users. You don't have to be very advanced. If you're advanced, you already know the stuff, you know. Because I learn skills, I share what I'm learning. And I may not be too advanced, but I can help you if you're starting new and you want to know about these software and software as a service. Sometimes we talk about web hosting, domain names, websites. Sometimes I talk about local software like this one now at home, you know. So if you have any questions, let me know, you know, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're interested in this kind of topic. And if you like the way I present, you know, I'm not gonna force anyone to, I mean, nobody can force you to subscribe, you know, you decide, but I wanna ask you because I need more subscribers and I wanna grow the channel so I can help more people, and I can be more motivated, you know. So and I offer services on the side like making a website, setting up website templates. I have a Linux commands course online. If you guys are interested, I can add the link in a comment box if somebody is interested to know about my course. I have a Linux commands for beginners online course. It's a video course. It's about 4 hours. So anybody else? Questions, comments? Uh, Guys, let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm just interested to know uh, where I'm reaching. I'm coming to you live from the U.S. state of South Dakota. It's in the Midwest region, and the time now is almost 8:23 on this October the 6th, 2024. It's a Sunday afternoon or evening. So if you're tuning in from the US, let me know what state are you tuning in from. If you're from overseas, let me know what country are you tuning in from. So I'm very interested to know. And anyone else? Questions, comments? Yeah, so let's say you have this Linux server here, and you want to access the Python interpreter, because Python has an interpreter that this is how you run Python programs or statements. You use the Python interpreter, they call them, because some programming languages have compilers, like C, C++. You have to use a compiler, and Python has an interpreter. So let's say you want to use Python here. So what you do on this server, or even on a desktop, you can use either. So once you type, let me show you, let me flip the screen. So if you look here, so this is the Linux commands prompt where you type Linux commands. Let's say you want to access the Python interpreter to type Python statement. So you type Python, and now it's gonna prompt you to what type of Python or what. So if I hit enter, and it says maybe Python 3. So let's use Python 3. So let's clear the screen. I just want to show you how to access the Python interpreter. So you type Python, it didn't go, so I think it's looking for 3, Python 3. So if I hit enter, and if you notice here, it says Python 3.10.12 main September 11, 2024, such and such, and it will give you some information, and that it's running on Linux. And then it says here type help, Python type help, copyright such and such, credit or licenses for more information. Okay, so if you look at this here, the 3 chevron, This is the Python interpreter, and you can type Python script, not script like statements, because the script it has to be run from the I think the command line, you know, in a different way. You use the .py. So let's say you want to add two numbers. Let's say you want to add 100 and 200. So the way you do it in Python, you use the print statement, print. Let me get close. And then you open parentheses, and then you add the single quotation, and you add the numbers. So 100 plus, let's say 300, and then close quotation, and then close parentheses and enter. Now it should give you 400. So if you hit enter, oh, okay, it didn't need the single quotation. It gave you a string. So if you use the single quotation, it's gonna produce the same what's in between. That's why it typed 100 plus 300. But we need to add them. So I think you can remove this. I'm just starting new with the Python, but I wanna finish JavaScript. So if you remove the single quotes, now it should give you 400 as an answer. So if you hit enter, and then if you see it gave you 400. So basically, what happened, I accessed from the Linux command, and I am at the server. I accessed the Python interpreter by typing Python 3. And once I got the prompt for the Python interpreter, I can start typing statements. And this is a statement where you add two numbers, let's say 100 plus 300. And what you do, you type a print, and open parentheses and close parentheses, and in between you add 100 plus 300, and it will give you 200. Let's say you want to raise 2 to the power of 8, let's say. So what you do, you type 2 power, I think the power is 2 asterisks, I think. Let me try it. 2 power, let's try power 8, and it should give you 32 or 64, I think. Okay, 256. So this is how you use power. So let's say you want to raise 2 to the power, this is going to be a big number. Let's say 2 power 1000. Okay, that's a big number. And you hit enter, and this is the number it produced. So, and let's say you wanna calculate 2 power 10,000. So you wanna, and you hit enter. This is gonna be a bigger number. I'm gonna move away from the screen so you can see it. So if you hit enter, and this is the number it produced. It's a very large number, so many lines. So this is why Python is good for calculation and scientific calculations. You know, they use it in data science because it's got so many libraries and packages for scientific calculations. So this is how you access the Python interpreter using the Linux server or the Linux command prompt. And you can use it on the desktop too. You can do the same thing on the desktop. And let me show you. This is the desktop here. And if you type Python 3, I think it is, yeah. So this is Python 3, right? And if you hit enter, again, you access the Python prompt here. And let's say I want to print 1/2. I want to print open parentheses, close parentheses, and between them 2. Let's say I want to divide 2 by 4. Enter, it gives you 0.5 half. So let's say you want to divide 2 by 2500. enter, and it'll give you 0.0008. So this is the desktop. So basically you can use a Python from the Linux command prompt by typing Python 3, whether you are on a desktop like this one or on a server like this one. So this is how you access the Python interpreter. It's called interpreter. Some programming languages need interpreter. Some of them need compiler, like the C++ language. They need a compiler. The Python, it needs an interpreter. So anyone have a question about running those commands? Now, I typed a simple statement, Python statement, but you can do big program, but you have to add them to a script, and the extension will be .py. Let's say you name it my script.py, and when you want to run it, you just type at the command prompt Python 3 space myscript.py, and you enter it. Then Linux will access the Python interpreter, and it will run the command, the Linux script or the program. Anybody else have a question about accessing Python on Linux, whether the desktop or the version, the server edition? So anyone else? Questions? Anybody have a question about running Linux commands, about the difference between the Linux desktop and the server, and how to access the Python interpreter and run Python statements? Let me know if you have a question, because I have both systems running, the desktop and the server, and I can run commands now if you want, if you have any questions. Anybody else? Guys, if you're interested in this kind of topics on my channel and the way I present, and if you think this channel is helping you, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I want to grow it, and every one of you makes a huge difference. You'll be motivating me, and I will be making more videos to help you. Let me know if you have any questions, any topics you want me to discuss in the future that's related to a Linux server or desktop, and using the resources and the software and tools that come with Linux. And also, I can talk about Visual Studio Code for code editing. I can talk about making simple web pages, simple websites, not complicated ones, and using web hosting and domain name. Let me know if you have any question. Anyone else? Anyone else have a question? Let me. So you can also use right now I am learning JavaScript, right? So JavaScript is you can use it using Visual Studio Code, and you can use it from the browser. And also JavaScript can be used on a back end of a server using a runtime environment called Node.js. So also you can install Node.js on Linux, whether it's Linux desktop or server. If you're learning JavaScript and you want to use it on a server for a back-end language, you can do that. And I just want to show you that the way you exit the Python interpreter. So we were running commands here, right, for the statements for Python. Let me switch the screen and show you. So if you want to exit the Python interpreter, you can type exit, exit, and then exit, and then you just add the two empty parentheses, open parentheses, close parentheses, and then you enter, and the system will exit the Python interpreter, and it will take you back to the Linux prompt, to the terminal. And if you clear, you can clear and you can go up here. So again, you're on the top of the screen, and this is the command prompt for the Linux server. And same thing here, you can use the exit, open and close parentheses to exit the Python interpreter. If you hit enter, and the system will take you back to the Linux prompt. And if I clear to go back to the top of the screen, and I'm right here on the top. This is the desktop, Linux desktop. This is the server. And if you want to know whether you have Node installed or not, you can type the word Node, and it will give you the version. I think Node. Let me see. -v. Okay, so if you type Node, let me show you. I just typed it now. So if you type Node, if you want to know what version of Node, or if Node is installed on your computer, like I said, this is for JavaScript runtime environment. You type Node, Node-V, capital V, and then the system will give you the Node version. This one is V10 19.0. Let's see if it's installed on this server, or it has to be installed. So if you type Node, actually here, I use the other keyboard, Node space capital V, and if you hit enter. Okay, so Node, it looks like Node does not come installed with the server edition, and I don't think it came installed with the desktop. You have to install it. And what's nice, the system, the Ubuntu server, it will give you how to install it. And if you look here, it even gave you the command you should use. Look what it gave you. This is why I like Ubuntu for new users, if you're starting anew to use it. So I typed Node-V, and since it's not installed, it says command Node not found, but can be installed with. And then it says sudo apt install Node.js. So I'm going to use this command to install Node.js on this Linux server. And this is the command I'm going to be using. Sudo space apt install Node.js. So this is how you install Node. And if I hit enter, and the system prompted me for the password again, and I'm gonna type the password, and then it says it's doing its work, it's installing it. And then first it says reading package list, and then the following package were automatically installed and are no longer required, such and such. And then what it does, it will give you it says the following. It will give you information about what's gonna happen, what will be installed, and what you can remove. It says here, if you look, It says JavaScript common LBC dash such and such Node.js slash doc will be installed, and it's gonna occupy 54 megabyte additional space will be used. Do you want to continue? Yes. So I want to install it. So you just type it. Basically, it's giving you information about what is it gonna use, that there's more hard disk space will be used. So I hit yes, and now it's gonna do more installation. So so if you notice, it's doing installations now. If you look, and then you look again on the progress bar below, it looks like there are so many apps. So let's see, and I keep getting this, which service should be restarted. Okay, I'm not gonna say any tab. Okay, if I hit OK, and now you look on the bottom, I am back to the command prompt, and let me see clear. So I cleared it. Now I'm gonna type again node dash v, and it should give you the version now. So node, like we did before, like we did here on a desktop, node v, and then it gave you the version. So node dash v, hit enter, and bad command, I guess it's looking for a small v, maybe small v. Okay, so it's looking for a small v, and then it says v12.22.9, and this is a newer version than the one I had on a desktop. The desktop has v10.19.0, so this can be upgraded too, but I'll do it another time, maybe tomorrow or something, or another video. This is too much for this video now. I'm giving you a lot of information and nobody is asking questions. If you have any questions, let me know. So yeah, maybe tomorrow we'll talk about upgrading a package. If you already have a package installed, how to upgrade it. Let me switch back the screen. So maybe in the future videos, maybe in the next videos, we can talk about installing a package on Linux, like a software, like what I did now, Node, and how to upgrade an existing package. Like let's say this desktop has Node.js, the version is v10.19.0, but it looks that there's a new version now, I just found out, v12.22.9. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna upgrade the version on a desktop, the Node version, and I need to find out how to upgrade it. I think it's apt update. Let me try it to see if it works. So let's flip the screen to show you what I'm doing here. So let's say apt install. I just want to try to install it to see what it says. Installed Node. Okay, Node.js maybe. Okay, let's see. Let's do an upgrade. Apt update. Update. Okay, I can't remember how to do this. Let me try to see how to upgrade Linux packages. So, okay, so sudo apt update. Okay, so let's see. I guess I want to update everything, so it looks like, yes. See. Okay, sudo apt update. Let's see if it updates the node on this one too. So okay, it looks like it has the standard the user, because I have a standard user which is George K. Chamon, and I have the GUK Cham. I need to use the other one. So I think I'm gonna leave the update of a package for another video. That will need a video by itself, you know. So anyone have a question? about what I'm talking about how to find out what what version of Node.js is installed on the server or on this desktop. You just type node dash space dash v. And if Node.js is installed on your machine, whether it's the desktop or the server, it's gonna give you v, the version, and then we gonna find out how to upgrade it. That will be for another video, how to upgrade a package, because this is too much now in this video. A lot of information like installing, upgrading, and we're talking about the desktop and the server edition. So it looks like I will have to make another video just for upgrading a specific package, because you have to be the admin on the machine. You can't be the standard user. Anybody have a question about Linux desktop versus Linux server? Anyone else have a question? Let me know. Let me know if you have any questions so I can answer them now. We're talking about Linux desktop server, the commands, and guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're interested in these kind of topics. I talk about Linux. I talk about making simple websites and making SVG files and other software on this channel. If you look through the channel, you will get an idea about the tutorials I make and what topics I cover. And if you have any questions or any specific topics you want me to cover, let me know. Just add them in the comment box. Anybody else? Anyone have a question? All right, so again, we're talking about Linux server, desktop edition, the difference, and if somebody have a question about using the commands, let me know. So we just covered the accessing the Linux server, Ubuntu 22.04 LTS. It means long-term support. We looked at the desktop edition and we look at the server edition, and we saw the difference. The desktop has a graphical user interface and icons that you can click with a mouse, and you can also access the terminal on the desktop version. But the server edition of Ubuntu, I have it installed on a different computer by itself. It doesn't have the mouse and the icon, and this is done on purpose. One of the purposes, like not to install everything from the on a server, because you'll be using a lot of resources and you'll have more risk of attacking the server. Because if you have a graphical user interface and GUIs, you'll be adding more software to the operating system, and you're causing more chances for attacks, vector attacks, on a computer, on a software. So who else? Who else have a question about using Linux? Anyone else? Questions about Linux commands, desktop, server edition? and what are they used for, and when should you start using a Linux server if you want to advance your knowledge with this kind of skills. I recommend you that you start with the desktop because it's got the GUIs. You can do a lot of work with them, and then you can access the terminal command. So basically, you have the terminal and you have the GUI. So, anyone else have a questions, comments? Guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content and you find it helpful. So, otherwise, thank you so much for joining. Submit your questions, add your topics that you want me to cover, and let me know if you have any question about what we're talking about Linux commands, about how to access some of the tools installed on Linux commands, uh, like Node.js, and how to install it if it didn't exist on a server, and how to access the Python interpreter by running Python statement, and getting the output right away. Like you want to add, let's say, to number, you want to multiply to number, you want to raise one number to the exponential of another number, you can use it. You can access the Python interpreter by typing Python 3, enter, and once you're next to the, you see three chevrons, which is the command prompt for Python. You can type, that's the that's you accessing the Python interpreter. Then you can start typing statements, like let's say if you want to add two numbers, you'll type print, you open parentheses, and you have the numbers in between, a plus in between them. So it will give you the result once you enter it. This is if you're not running the Python in a Python script or program, you just want to add one statement at one time. So, anyone else have a question? Guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're interested in learning how to use Linux commands for a desktop and a server, how to use Visual Studio Code to make website coding, HTML5, CSS3, some JavaScript, and also we talk about making SVG files, and other type of software like web hosting, domain name. So if you have any questions, let me know. Anyone else? Anyone else have a question? So if you want to improve your technical skills, it's good to learn. These are some of the topics I talk about and the skills I like to I work with and I learned. The first one is you see what? The first one is Linux commands. Then you have the Visual Studio Code for as a code editor to make HTML5, CSS3 using JavaScript, and installing and using Node.js, and other programming languages. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna hang out for couple more minutes to see if there's any questions coming in, so I can help you, I can answer you. If not, we're gonna have to wrap it up for the day. I'm waiting for your questions. I'll hang out for 2 3 minutes, then I have to wrap it up. Anyone else? Questions, comments? Anyone have any specific topics you want me to talk about related to topics on my channel, like Linux commands using Visual Studio Code for editing codes like HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript? Let me know if you have any question. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Questions, comments? Talking about Linux server and Linux desktop, and we're talking about the Ubuntu distribution 22.04, and I have one computer running the desktop version and the other one running the server version, and I just show you the difference between them and how they look like. And we can also talk about, but not this video. This video is only for Linux commands and using the desktop and the server. So, anyone else have a question about Linux commands, Python commands? All right. Anyone have a question? Talking about Linux server and desktop. I guess no questions coming in. So, okay, guys, I've been running for this live stream for 1 hour and a half almost, and I guess I'm gonna wrap it up. If you have any questions in the future, you can still submit your questions, and I will look at them, and if I can reply, I will do that. So, yeah. Questions, comments, topics. All right. Yes, I was able to. I mean, that's how it works. Access. If you want to access Python, the Python compiler to run programs, in Python and using the Linux machine. Um, you just have to type Python 3 or 2, it depends what version you have. I have 3, Python 3, and enter. This is how you access the Python interpreter, and then you start typing statement to run them in the interpreter. But if you wanna run a Python script from the Linux commands, it has to have .py extension, and all right. I guess no questions coming in. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna wrap it up because no more question coming in, and I don't have any other topics to discuss right now on this video. You know, I have to think about other topics, and I wish I can find it soon. So hopefully tomorrow I'll make another one. So okay, I want to thank you so much for joining this live stream, and whether on you tuned in or you did not, and you want to stop by in the future, I want to thank you for stopping by to my channel, and I can answer you to make sure you get your question answered to the best of knowledge, my knowledge. Otherwise, I refer you to the right resources. Thank you. See you in the next video. All right. Okay. Okay. See you all next in the next video. Hopefully tomorrow or the day after, but it's coming soon. I have to prepare for it. And if you have any comments or topics you want to discuss, add it to this live stream or in a comment box. Make sure in a comment box. And we'll talk later. Have a good night. Thank you, or good day. Thanks.